just keep fighting, each and every game because it's any given Sunday.
Welcome to Mustard Cat's Sports Challenge, folks. My name is Lucas TA. This is episode number 8, and we have another wonderful guest. But before we get into the guest, I just got to recap what happened last week, and it was atrocious for me. Garvey ended up just dominating. He had an 8-0 for noon games, which just kicked my ass, and he ended up with a full 20 points out of 30. I only got 12 points, so I think that puts my record at 0-6, I believe, and one tie. So really struggling. I'm hoping I can beat the guest this week. If not, don't worry. I'll continue my quest for one win. Luckily, there was no punishments on the comment section, so I'm all good there. But I will be doing the 999 challenge this Saturday for the final game, or not final game, but the World Series. So that will be fun. I'll record all that, and that will get put out sometime next week, most likely, but I will be doing that. So stay tuned for that because that'll be interesting. 9 hot dogs, 9 beers in 9 innings. So hopefully you enjoy that. But let's get on to our Week 8 guest. So I'd like to welcome our guest, Shawn. How are you, Shawn?
Howdy, I'm doing great. How are you?
I can't complain. It's the middle of the day, and I'm trying to get a win. So,
well, this might be your week. I was telling you off air a few minutes ago. There's a couple of these when we get to the matches that are still, as you were doing your introduction, I'm still just kind of going over things. It's like, I don't know. So this could be it.
Don't overthink it because I seem to overthink it, or sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go the opposite of someone else, and then it bites me in the butt.
You know what, though? It's interesting you say that because back in the early 2000s, I used to do a lot of sports betting.
Yeah.
06, 08, somewhere in there, it kind of became illegal, and they cut off the way to transfer money and all that. Anyway,
yeah.
So, but I was very successful because the teams that I'm not necessarily a big fan for, I'm looking at numbers, I'm looking at statistics, I'm looking at injuries, I'm looking at all this. And so by overthinking it, I actually was very successful.
Yeah.
Sometimes, however, you have that gut instinct. And so when it comes to some of these, it is just going to be gut instinct. But I live in Texas now where nothing fun is legal. So I can't even do DraftKings or any of that stuff. But so I guess I'm just accustomed to like going over numbers on my computer in front of me here. I got stats and it's ridiculous. I know.
Yeah. I look forward to the day that the whole United States can do all the gambling they want.
Like a normal country. Yes.
Yes. Because like up here in North Dakota, you can do the FanDuel, but you can't bet on a particular player. You can't bet on a team, but you can do a 5-man roster. They'll let you do that. So doesn't make sense to me, but
it doesn't make sense. It's just, I understand. Okay, fine. You want to limit casino slot machines, whatever. Yeah. And by the way, that's a stupid thing here in Texas. You can go into a gas station and there'll be slot machines, but they have this workaround in the law because you're technically not playing for money. You're playing for a gift card or something. It's so stupid. It's still, you're sitting in a slot machine waiting for 3 cherries to come up or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, but I can't sit here and analyze this. And anyway, I'm going on a soapbox tangent. I'll shut up.
No, it's definitely, I look forward to the day. That's all I got to say. Because
I know.
It's coming, but it's a very slow.
Yeah, very slow. But
so, you said obviously you live in Texas now. Are you from Texas or?
Well, that's what's weird. It's like I'm fourth generation Wilsey living in Texas. So all my dad's side of the family is from here, but I spent most of my life in Minneapolis and actually went to school, graduated high school in Rochester, which was kind of fun. The years I was going, we wound up, speaking of sports, having some very successful athletes come out of the class one before me. Yeah. Daryl Thompson had a brief career with the Packers. Yeah. And then the one I personally, as a big hockey fan, am most proud of, Shawn wound up winning the Stanley Cup for Denver in 94 or 5, something like that. So we had some very successful people come out of the class before me. And having lived in Rochester and in Minneapolis as long as I did, that's where I used to follow the Minnesota North Stars, and now here I am in Texas. I got the same damn team down here. It's just the moment Norm Green got here, he sold it again, and it's like, bye. And so he did exactly what he wanted to. So I just feel like I'm following the same team that I was following back in the day. However, I got to admit, and I'm getting ahead of myself, one of the games I'm kind of tossed up on are the Wild game and the Dallas game that we'll be talking about in hockey in a little bit. So that's one of those where I'm torn.
I did that on purpose. So
thanks.
Every game that I put on, like if I can't put the whole like the NFL, I had to cut 2 games out of there just because.
Did you?
I did. I'll tell you which ones they are when we get to that.
Okay.
But and you'll understand why I cut them, because you would never have picked the other team. Like you wouldn't have.
Okay.
Really trust me. You'll have to wait and wait and hear. But usually I try and cater every game that I pick to the host, not to your advantage, but not truly to my, well, obviously not to my advantage, because I don't have a
You're
win.
a loser.
So, but whoever is on, I try and cater something either to trigger them to be like, oh no, that's my team, I gotta pick them, or like, oh no, I should look at the analytics and pick that. So I try and play some mind games, but it obviously has not helped me. So I need to rethink my game. But
well, I love the concept, and it's going to be fun. It's just this is the first time I publicly have had to display this, and so I'm more concerned for myself that if I do lose this, it's like
you don't want to, because obviously you don't have to do a punishment, but then you'll have to be known that you got beat by me, and I have no wins.
What's your streak now?
0-6 and one tie.
God.
So
why did I agree to this? Oh Lord.
Well, obviously, you watch some sports in some capacity. What sports do you regularly watch?
They're in my cup. It's that's
Astros.
Yeah, I don't miss an Astros game. Baseball has always been, even since I was a kid, has been my thing. I suck at it. And so I think that's why I love watching it, because I can't hit a ball to save my life. The sports I played were tennis and soccer. Those were the ones I was actually good at, and golf. But I haven't golfed in 30 years, so don't even ask. But baseball has always been my thing. It's if I visit a city for the first time, they've got a pro team, I have to go to a game. I've been to games in Boston, Toronto, Tampa, Chicago. I mean, it's just, long list.
Do you have a favorite stadium?
I thank you for asking that. Yes, it used to be called Sky Dome, the Blue Jays home. Rogers Center now, I think it is. Or whatever it is. Amazing place, and it was the first retractable roof stadium.
Okay.
And in fact, when I was there, I think it was still the only one. It was amazing to see, which is why I laugh, because Houston now has a retractable roof stadium, and they retract it like 3 times a year because it's always so hot that there's just no point. So great use of money putting a retractable roof on the stadium. I was actually in Houston a couple of weeks ago, and we were at a rooftop bar overlooking. It was when they were getting set up for the playoffs. And so they were painting the field or something, and they actually had the roof retracted. So I was able to get some pictures for the first time ever of that stadium open. Yeah. My thing about modern stadiums, and I get it, it's like every generation stadiums all fall under the same idea, the same theme. Like the Twins new, well, it's not new anymore, but their stadium was one of the last built under that kind of retro thing that the old Globe Life Field in Dallas was built looking like, with all the brick and the dark colors. Now, if you showed me a picture of the new Globe Life in Dallas and Minute Maid Park where the Astros play, from the inside, they're almost identical. They're built to this same schematic now of lots of wire. There's none of the warmth that you had in the old stadiums. And so I don't like this carbon copy trend that they seem to have going on. I don't even know if there's any new stadiums going up right now that you have. Well, Vegas, they have one. They just tore down Tropicana. And so I'm hoping that it's not going to wind up looking like that. Maybe we've turned the corner and there's a new design factor that's going to be coming into play, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I love my Astros, but Minute Maid Park, except for the little train that goes around, not the most ingenious thing ever.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, I like some personality for each stadium, and I think that goes with any sport. Like, if you like, it's cool, to see like a stadium do one thing and like that's really badass, but that doesn't mean like another team should do the same exact thing. Like, take the idea and tweak it a little, but like it then what makes me a consumer want to go to that unless I love that team? That's the only reason why. Otherwise, like take Lambeau for instance, Lambeau Field. You might hate the Packers, but that garners so many eyes, so many people. There's people that come across the sea, and they don't even like football per se, but they're like, you need to go experience it because it's a, like, Packer fan or not, it's a really cool city and a really cool stadium to just go on game day, like, hands down. Like, and that's, I feel like, what teams and cities should strive for. Like, not that exact look, but that style. Like, why should we come to your, stadium?
What are your thoughts? I've only seen it from the outside in person and on TV on the inside, where the Vikings are playing now.
I actually have not been inside it.
Oh, okay.
I've been outside of it when I lived up there, and I've seen it. It's really massive, big, looks cool, but I've never actually gone to a game yet or been inside it. So I've heard good things from a bunch of my buddies that have gone to it. Like, it's a nice stadium, it's big. I don't know. Even though I got a Vikings flag back there, I'm not a Vikings fan.
I was going to comment on that, but now that you brought it up,
that was a punishment. I had to put up a Vikings flag because I lost. But if you can kind of see, it's divided, and there's a Packer thing above it, so it's kind of a loophole. But
I see that now, it feels like it's come down to now. It's like the experience, if you will. It doesn't even necessarily revolve around the game anymore. It's how much shit can we sell you once we have you inside. It's like, we have the restaurants now, we have the bars now. It's this whole experience. I want to sit and watch the game and have a hot dog brought to me and a beer. I don't want to go into your lounge. I don't want to sit in a bar and watch it on a monitor. It's but that seems to be where the experience is going. I can do that at home and save myself a hell of a lot of money.
Oh yeah, you very much can. I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know. Like, I'm not a huge baseball person. Like, I enjoy going to the games. I can't sit there and watch it the whole time. I get too fidgety, and I don't have a dog in the fight either. So that doesn't help. When you don't have a team, you're kind of just like, all right, well, maybe I'll get to see a home run. So usually when I go to the Twins stadium, we usually just buy nosebleeds, and then we go hang out at the bar area, get drink, kind of hang over the edge, walk around, so I don't really get to see the whole game per se. But it's, I don't know, like, I guess I don't know where I was fully going with that. Like, it's just, I know what you're saying. Like if, when I go to a race or if I go to football game, I don't want to walk around because I'm usually there for that team or that drive or whatever. I want to sit down. I don't want to get up and have to go get a beer. Obviously, they do walk around and cater to you every once in a while, but I don't know. I feel like you are on a point where they definitely put more amenities in and around the stadium because they want you more or less to hang around the stadium per se like that rather than just going and watch the game. Even though that's what people are mostly there for, is to watch the game. Because like I said, I can just watch it from home for cheaper.
Well, no, I mean, and I think you brought up a good point, though. There are certain sports like football, like basketball, like hockey, where there is such nonstop action. If you get up to go to the bar to do something, you're going to miss something. It's just with baseball, you can sit there for 10 minutes and just twiddle your thumbs. For me, that's enjoyable. I like that aspect of it, but it's not for everyone.
No, people have their different things they like, and I agree with you because hockey too, they won't even let you walk back down the thing. So like if you get up to leave and they're in play, they won't even let you walk down. So, and I get that to a point, but at the same time, it's like, well, now I can't watch the game.
Exactly.
I guess I'll walk around.
Yes.
So I get why they're doing it because they don't want to interrupt other people, but it's like, well, I guess I'll just, buy my 10 beers and carry them around with me, like you don't want me to get up and go get anything. So I don't know.
Exactly right. Yeah, different time. So, but when I was living in Minneapolis, I saw the original Met Stadium. I'm that old. North Stars play. What the hell did the North Stars play at? Met Center.
Yeah.
And so I remember all of these iconic old places. In fact, it surprises me that because Target Center is what, almost 40 years old now.
Yeah.
It's up there.
Yeah.
And I'm still shocked that there hasn't been this screaming, we need a new arena. We need a new arena. Because by that point, most teams are, we're packing up and moving to, Des Moines if you don't give us a new arena.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when the football stadium not just got done, but it's been up now for what, 4 or 5 years now? Maybe a little more than that, 6? Because it was like 18, I think it maybe went up.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
But, so maybe, I don't know, maybe the hockey stadium's next. I don't know. Because everything else is pretty brand new. So, So,
they put out a team that, and again, not to get too far ahead, but if they put out a team that maybe won something, then people would give a shit what Target Center looked like.
Before we move on to your favorite teams, that you have besides your baseball team, I living in Minnesota and living around Minnesotans, I enjoy them, but for their sports teams, and I've never been a fan of any of their sports teams because, one, I don't know, Minnesota in general drives me insane, but just their fans, they're just the craziest, bipolar people that you'll ever meet. Because they're 1 minute they're like, yeah, we're 5-0. We're the best team out there. And then they go on a 2-game losing streak and well, this team's washed. We're done. What in the and they have the right to do that. I get that because if you look back at any of their team's history, they're the greatest at building them up and they're just going done. So I get why they do it, but it's man, if you're gonna be that bipolar and depressed by your team, there's billions of, or not billions, but there's so many other teams you can go root for. Just because you're living in Minnesota doesn't mean you gotta stay. And you can stay in Minnesota but still root for someone else. It's, I don't know. I've never understood that. And then everyone well, that's my team. Well, I guess it's your team. That's good. But if it truly drives that nuts, there's at least 30 plus other teams you can go.
Exactly. And they're the most fair weather fans ever. I always notice that. But you bring up a really good point. It's you don't have to just because you live. I mean, I lived a mile from the Metrodome most of my time I was in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a huge Brett Favre fan. And so just because of him, I became a Packers fan because I wanted to follow him because he was amazing. So yes, you can do that. But I love these. Back in the mid 1990s, I was doing a sports show actually for, at the time, what was called Shop NBC, the shopping network up there.
Yeah.
And we were going to have one of the Minnesota Vikings on a Sunday afternoon after they played. Can't remember who it was, as a guest.
Yeah.
They couldn't fill enough seats in a stadium where the game couldn't even be shown locally. And that happened a lot back in that era of the Vikings. And so my other guest would flown in from New York. We had to sit in this hotel room and listen to it on the radio.
Yeah.
Because enough fans couldn't be bothered to actually go to the game. It's like, if you are a diehard fan, like a lot of them say they are, get in the damn seat and go support your team, win or lose.
Yeah.
But anyway, and so fast forward another 4 years when the Vikings literally had a perfect season. You know, it's just, oh my gosh, we've loved them forever. Oh, did you? Did you love them 4 years ago when you couldn't be bothered to go sit in a seat in the stadium?
Yeah.
Oh, they drove me nuts with that.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. They're the first people to tell you that your team lost on Monday. They're like, and that's just a Viking Packer thing. But if Iowa had a team, they would do the same thing to them. So North and South Dakota, they do the same thing to them, but they don't. But what other favorite teams do you have in any other sports, or is that basically your only?
Obviously the Texans for football, obviously. Although I'm still a Cowboys fan, just because they're different areas that they're playing. So it's just, I follow them both. But the Texans are my other one. Mm-hmm. Stars, I already mentioned. I talked about that. Yep. I have a passing interest in the Austin Football Club, which started up a few years ago for soccer. Okay. Only because I played for when I was a kid, and so I still have an interest in that. But I am one of those that admits watching it on TV is not necessarily the most interesting thing sometimes. I'd much rather be playing it than watching it. So it's and I follow, speaking of soccer, the Premier League out of England, and very obscure team. Bournemouth is who I follow, the Cherries, and that's on it. I don't know. I guess that's about it. I will watch just about, like, if I'm sitting in a sports bar somewhere and there's a game on, it could be a team I don't care about, I'm going to watch it just because I like the competition. I like the athleticism of it. But as far as teams that, I have notifications when the games start, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Well, kind of going off your soccer thing, I'll agree with you. And again, I'm not a huge soccer fan, just because I feel like it's more or less, I think it's like an American thing. I feel like it's split between so hear me out on this. Either you're an American and you love soccer because, one, you played it, or something just, I don't know, like Sammy Adams. I follow Sammy Adams a lot. He's a big soccer fan. He used to play it. He went to college for it, almost went to the pros. He's someone that, and you obviously enjoy it and all that. Obviously over in Europe or any other country, soccer, football, what it's called over there, they love it. That's their number one sport. Over here in America, the number one sport is football, American football. So, and I feel like there is this sandpaper between those two style of people. When you're football, and then someone says, no, soccer, and you get that whole and they're like, no, I hate soccer, football. I just feel that there's that weird, but don't get me wrong. I feel like when the Olympics come around, every fucking person just jumps on the train. Is Team America. Yeah. It's you were just telling me you hated soccer. What? What the hell are you talking about, man?
well,
Exactly.
I love watching the Olympics. Like, yeah, but then you won't watch soccer outside of the Olympics. So it's like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like there's that weird, like I'm not going to go out and say that I love soccer by any means, but I enjoy playing it. Like I enjoyed playing it as a kid. It just never really tickled my fancy to watch it. But if someone's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you want to go play soccer?" Like I would. It's fun. It's fun to go out and kick the ball
Yeah.
around. It's a lot of running, but
Well, no, that's true. I live I live in a small town of about 15,000 people, and just a few blocks from us is
yeah,
the soccer fields for the city. And Saturday morning, my God, you wouldn't believe the cars that are out there. It is huge. We have a large Latino population here too, since
yeah,
we're so close to Mexico. It's
mm-hmm.
probably half the population is of Spanish origin, and so it's huge there, obviously in Mexico. And so these kids are out there with their leagues, and the leagues go year round here,
Yeah.
and so it's constantly they're out playing. Whether that transcends later in life into viewing it, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of these kids will grow up and continue to play. I work a lot of the people, in fact, that I work with that are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s that are originally from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, they're out playing soccer. So
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things that transcends into we love playing it, but watching it, it's never going to be a big ratings draw in North America. You're right, though, in England, I was there a few years ago. And my God, Saturday, it's just forget it. That's you watch soccer, end of story. That in football.
Yeah.
It's so to them, it is on Saturday what American football is to us on Sunday. Yeah. And then you go to work the next day, you recap it. Did you see this? Did you see that? Mm-hmm. It's exactly what it is in England. And it's never going to translate that way here.
No. And not to go off on a little tangent here, but I feel like that's that same kind of thing, like what the NFL is trying to do by putting all these football games over in England. Like, you're just wasting your time. Like, you're wasting your time. Like, you're gonna get people that will watch it, of course. Like any sort of new sport that comes to a country, they're gonna be like, yeah, let's watch it, but they'll get tired of it over time. Like it's not for everyone. Some people don't even like it in America. So it's like, like I get the business aspect. Yeah, we got to go out and reach more people, but stick to what works and fine tune that even more. Like don't go out and like, I get that's an easier thing to do is go out, to a new demographic and be like, hey, look at this. Like, yeah, you're going to get more eyes instantly, but I don't know. That's another like topic that I feel like I could sit and just rant and just nitpick, like, Monday morning quarterback. Like, oh yeah, it's easier to say, but I feel like it is an easier thing. You just have to do it. Like you have to put in the time, the effort to go out and get those little bit more. Like reach out and like maybe you lost some people that used to watch it because they loved the aggressiveness and it's gotten a little soft. But that had to for a reason. But I don't know. Maybe you got to reach out to them and show them why it had to. Like I get they've said a lot of things, but put stuff more. That Brett Favre now has Parkinson's. I think that's going to help a lot of people to understand that yes, this sport is still fucking dangerous. Like people are getting knocked around, and like Tua, the Dolphins quarterback obviously got his like third major concussion, and I believe he's coming back still, which that's his own discretion.
Yeah.
Like, is it the smartest? Probably not. But if that's truly what he loves to do, like, do it, man. Like, if that's what you love to do, do it. Like, it's your life. Like, you'll have to live with the consequences, but like, just do it, man. Like, don't listen to other people. So, but kind of transitioning into that, people I was listening to on ESPN, Chad Johnson was talking, I can't remember with someone, and they were talking how Tua is coming back, and a lot of the NFL players, not a lot of them, I'd probably say like maybe 5% of the players, mostly linemen, have been wearing those like soft, squishy things that go over their helmet. And Chad Johnson made a brilliant observation, a brilliant point. Like, that's not going to do shit. Like, it's literally not going to do shit, because he said, and I've known this because with racing and stuff, because and just researching myself about concussions, but your brain is sitting in liquid. It's not attached to anything. So as you get tossed around, your head moves. Like when I'm doing this, my head's going back and forth. My brain's moving around. If it gets slammed into the skull, that's how you get a concussion. Like, it's not the outside. So you have to somehow hold the brain intact. So putting squishier stuff on the outside isn't helping the inside, because it's still moving around, slamming into the inside of your skull. So, and I don't know if there is a fix for that, at least right now. Like, that's just, if you take a hard hit, like, it's the same thing as if you're in a car crash. Your neck, your head goes forward, your brain bounces off the inside of your skull. You can't protect that, unless you have a Hans device, which that's what NASCAR and IndyCar and F1 all use. It's a thing that goes around your body, clips onto your helmet, so then your neck can only go so far. Still, you can get a concussion from that, because your head goes forward, stops at some point, your brain doesn't stop, it bounces into this inside of your skull, you can still get a concussion. So
yeah,
like, I don't know, like, it's inevitable. Like, it's going to happen. Like, that's the risk you take as any person that is in any sort of contact sport. That's the risk you're going to take. And
yeah, and I think most of them know that, and I think they're aware of that.
Yeah.
I had to look up the term. I couldn't think of it. Guardian cap.
Yes, that's what. Yes, guardian.
I had to look it up. And everything I had read about this has said that they have not significantly proven any of the ability of the helmet to do anything. So it's a lot of, to me, wasted time and resources. But if someone's mentally more comfortable, if it makes you mentally feel better and more equipped to play the game, knock yourself out. Go for it. You know, I'm not going to stop you. But I just think it's a lot of nothing, and you really surmised it perfectly.
Yeah, and so I have nothing against people that want to wear it, but they should not mandate it, and they shouldn't because there's nothing behind it that says
nothing
that it stops concussions.
No,
it may stop like you from smashing and breaking your skull.
Yeah,
because there's more padding, but it's not inside out. It's not doing anything. So, but I guess getting back on track, you obviously said you played soccer when you were younger. Any other sports when you played?
Soccer, tennis, golf. That was about it. You know what I really loved, and I never did it outside of the school environment, but, and again, this is something you only do in Minnesota. Our gym classes in 10th or 11th grade, they taught us cross-country skiing, and I really enjoyed that. And I know had I pursued downhill skiing, I would have loved that too. Yeah. But I hate cold, which is why I live now where it's 100 degrees most of the time, because I just can't stand that effect. But I really enjoyed cross-country skiing. And so that's something. If I was better, since I like soccer, if I was a better skater, I know I would have loved hockey. When I grew up, all my best friends, I'll never forget elementary school. I don't know how many of your viewers are outside of Minnesota, but they might not know, at least when I was a kid, elementary school kids would get up at 5 a.m., have hockey practice, then go to school. I'll never forget my friend Chris Johnson. It's like literally 5 a.m. every morning in the winter. He's up, goes to hockey practice, come home, shit, shower, shave. Well, not shave in elementary school, but you know what I mean. And then go to school. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that they're doing this. But when you love something that much and you want to do it, that's the price you pay to do it. And he was very good. And I'm not a skater. I don't have the agility, but I know I would have loved that. Yeah, no,
I don't like, I can't skate with shit. I love skating though. Anytime I go out on a rink, I'm usually with Sam, and Sam can skate like no other. And he'll just, go really, really fast. And then he can stop really like the side thing. And I can't do that. So I'm like doing the, like I can ski, so I'm doing like the pizza to try and stop. Like, oh, this isn't skiing. So, but
you're doing this, you mean, with your legs or your feet?
So, but yeah, I I've been getting into hockey a lot more the last probably 3 years. Um, and it's really fun to just be on the ice, like yourself. Like if you just go to like an open skate either outside or in a rec center or something like that, that's fun. I really enjoy it. And I wish I would have done it more when I was younger, because that, not that you can't learn when you're older, but it seems like it's easier to pick up and be faster at it if you as you're younger. But
yeah. Question for you. We just had this conversation at work the other night.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about winter sports.
Mm-hmm.
And since you're in the north, you'll appreciate this. Curling, sport or not?
Oh, jeepers. Let me think about this for a second. So, oh man. So
it's in the Olympics.
It is. It is in the Olympics. Man. And I want to say, jeepers. I'll say this: it's a sport only if you count bags or cornhole, whatever you call it, and beer pong. And if you count those all sports, then curling is a sport.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
If not, then it's not a sport, because like it takes skill. I get that. Not any person can go out there and just but so does bags, so does beer pong, so does the little golf game with the two balls that you got to swing on the thing. That takes skill too and talent. So, but it's not to say that contact makes a sport, but it's very little energy. So
yeah.
I'm going to say no, unless you count those as a sport. If you count those as sport, then yes, it's a sport. Like it's the same thing as chess. Like, would you count chess as sport? Like, no,
definitely not. No.
But it takes skill. So if you're going to say that skill makes a sport, I guess I'd have to look up what they define as sport is. But I'm just going to say no. It is in the Olympics, but I feel like there's a lot of things that are Olympics that, not a lot, but I feel like there's a few things in the Olympics. I don't follow the Olympics as much, but I feel like if I would scroll through, I would probably find a few other things like that. Not taken away from curling by any means, but I don't know.
My Canadian friends have very strong opinions on that, and I had one say it involves a team, it involves expensive equipment, it involves a designated place to do it. You can't just, like beer pong, I could set up in my living room.
That's true.
It requires a special place.
Yeah.
There's a scoring system. They had a whole list of bullet points that made me say, okay, you're bringing up a good point. So I could see it falling into that category. I don't know. It's divisive because the curling fanatics will be adamant
that's true
that it's a sport.
So I don't. Again, I'll just stay with where I'm at. But if some curling person came up to me and gave me those, I would probably be like, okay, I guess it is.
Yeah.
But if someone's just going to come up and ask me if it's a sport, I'll probably lean towards the no. But yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Because the reason that whole conversation started was we were talking about Olympic sports, and apparently I didn't see it. And I'm like pop culture dummy here. Apparently, in the most recent Olympics, breakdancing became a thing, and there was some Australian woman who went viral because of her terrible performance or something. I don't know, but no chance in hell that breakdancing is a sport. Zero chance.
That's I would agree. That like, then are we gonna start doing like other dances too?
Yeah, we came up with this dumb idea that breakdancing was somehow a sport. And where's that fine line that somehow this crosses over? Because to your point, then, well, chess. Let's put chess in it. Let's come on. This is just it involves devices and people and competition. It's like, so I don't get that.
Well, what the dictionary defines a sport is an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment.
That's beer pong.
So,
you nailed it.
So, yeah.
By that definition, that's beer pong. So,
yeah. So I guess maybe they should put Olympics, beer pong in Olympics.
Yes. Come on. God. I posted, I got really bored at one point around the Olympics, and I fell in love with AI's ability to create things. And on my Instagram, I started posting pictures of AI generated sports that I made it look like, oh, I'm missing the Olympic coverage of this. One was Olympic pickup sticks. And I literally got AI to generate images of people picking up sticks. One was, my brain is sick, taking a chainsaw to a refrigerator. I missed the Olympic coverage of that. And AI created images of people taking a chainsaw to a refrigerator. And it's just because they've expanded it into this whole stupid thing now where what's stopping these from becoming events? I don't understand. And I am one of those who will watch the obscure, like fencing. I love watching fencing on the Olympics.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's a bit on the obscure side. And again, sport, we could debate that, but I love watching it.
Yeah. I'm surprised that that's not more of its own sport individually. It's basically this equivalent to not to say you just sword fighting and trying to kill the other person, but it is just in a more non-killing way.
Yeah.
Your opponent gets to live.
Yeah. So,
but
the way they've designed these suits and the scoring system, it really draws you in, and it makes for great TV. Did you see 3-person basketball?
I didn't catch any of that. No.
That's another one with just the little teams just playing basketball in this half court. It's that's great television. That's great viewing. I'm surprised that doesn't have a life of its own.
Yeah. No, it's interesting why they wouldn't have, especially the NBA, they don't play all year round. No. So why not take a month and do a small tournament of that?
Great idea.
I don't if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? And it would only take a month, it could be a mini March Madness for pick your top 3 player. People want to see that. They would love to see the best of the best. That's what anyone that watches sports want to see. They want to see the best and the best go up against each other. No gimmicks, just give them the rules. These are the guidelines, and then go at it. If there was some way in the future for them to this is crazy talk, but time travel and bring, LeBron James at his prime back to when Michael Jordan played back then and actually put it to the test and see who's the actual best.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. And that's exactly what people want to see is the best of the best going against each other. And we can't see that. So the only way you can do that is compare stats. And when you change the rules and you change everything, I've even heard that the NBA wants to change the 3-point line so they have a 4-point line.
I hadn't even heard that.
My friend Kyle, or cousin Kyle, he follows basketball in general, and he said that they've looked into that, and it's no, because that'll wreck the whole thing. You can look at the NFL. The NFL wrecked all their records now that they went to 18 weeks instead of 17 weeks. So you give an NFL player a whole nother week to get more yards, more throwing yards, more passing yards, more running yards, all that. So now all these people like Dan Marino, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning's records are probably safe because he's throwing so much, and the GOAT, Tom Brady. But you got a lot of these other guys that are more mid that are good that are going to get passed by a lot of these people that are coming up now because they get an extra game, and an extra game over 10 years, that's a whole season.
Yeah.
You just wrecked the whole way that people love to compare. Oh, you can compare this guy back to this guy. Look at his stats. You can't do that anymore now because now there's going to be an asterisk be like, well, the newer guy got a whole extra week for 9 years straight. Like, of course he's going to have more touchdowns. So, like, I don't know. You got to, like, I know rules have to be changed, but you got to kind of look. You got to look at that, like, as the sanctioning body. Like, that's what the person that's watching the sport likes to do. Like, one, they like to watch their team, but then they like to, like, focus in, like, oh damn, if he gets X amount more touchdowns or X amount more home runs, he's gonna have more than this guy. That means he's better. People love that. They like that's what the human element is. Who's better than who? Like,
who was the Sammy Sosa? Who was the other one in the '90s that they were not all
Mark McGwire.
Thank you, Mark McGwire. Now there's an asterisk after both of those because it turns out that they were all doped up, and so it's just but the whole world, people that didn't care about baseball were suddenly tracking this. It's like, oh my gosh, we've never seen anything like this. So you're right. There's now if we start doing this, every record is gonna have an asterisk after. It's like, well, but blah blah blah. It's just you're gonna ruin it.
Yeah. And you, like, sorry that, maybe people are not that they're more gifted, but like every generation that comes up, they get a little dumber in some areas, but they're also a little more smart in some areas too. Like, they're more like all the quarterbacks that have come up in the last 10 years are way more, like, I wouldn't say knowledgeable, but they critique more. They sit there and they focus on the next game plan and all that. Like, I'm not saying, like, I'll just take NASCAR in this instance. Everyone back in the 90s in NASCAR, when they were racing, they would get out of the car, slam some beers, go on with their day, maybe go tend to their farm, have another life kind of outside of racing, and then get back in that race car that next week and go at it again and have that same cycle. Now these drivers, they'll still maybe have a beer or two or whatever the heck they drink when they win and all that. But they are so hyper-focused on what they are doing, and they live and breathe that. Like, so to that point, if you were to do that same thing with the people that were back then, of course they're going to be better. They're doing multiple things, not as physically fit as the newer people. So I hate that argument, how, like, well, these new people are way more fit and they're just more hyper focused on everything. Well, yeah, because everything develops and changes as the world gets more technology, and you can see all this data and all these, like, there's smart people out there. They'll find the points like, hey, you got to focus on this. That's your crap game. You can't do layups for shit. So get working. Like, you're great at 3 points, but you can't lay up or shit. So you're going to work on that. Like, not that people back in the day, like early 90s and 80s, didn't do that. It's just a lot of them had raw talent. Not saying that no one has raw talent now, but it's just, I feel like people miss that a lot. And the easiest way to, prove your point is always just to look at stats. And if you keep changing the goddamn rules, there's always an asterisk. And it's just like, well, we'll never know.
Yeah, exactly.
So off with that tangent. I got 2 questions for you.
Yes.
The most hostile questions yet. Are you more of a dog person or a cat person? And you have to decide on one or the other.
Considering we have a Doberman and a pit bull, dog person. And I used to always be a cat person. Okay. But these 2 animals are the greatest animals ever. So without a doubt, dog person.
Yeah. I side with you. I'm more of a dog person too. I don't hate cats, but if you're gonna tell me I got to go one way or the other, I'm going towards the dogs. So the last one though, mustard or ketchup, and you can only have that for the rest of your life.
Easy. And I'm gonna get really specific with my answer. Not only is it mustard, it is a very specific. Our big grocery store chain down here is HEB, and HEB has an in-house spicy mustard that I can put on anything. Anything. So it has to be. I'm not going to take any French's Yellow. It has to be the
Just
HEB store brand spicy yellow mustard. It's amazing. So that's easy one to answer.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love both, but yeah, if gun to my head and you got to tell me I got to pick one, I'm doing mustard all day. So
yeah, no, without a doubt.
Yeah. So, but let's get into some.
Well, you're missing something.
What am I missing?
3 days ago, the most important sporting event in all of mankind took place, and you haven't addressed that yet.
Well, when was that? 3 days ago.
F1. Weren't you watching?
Oh,
everybody in the world was watching F1. You can't tell me you don't care about F1, Lucas.
I did catch practice. I will tell you that. I caught practice on Saturday. I didn't catch the race.
So what's wrong with you? It was Sunday at 2:00. What could you have been doing Sunday at 2:00?
I was watching. Well, I had a TV with Red Zone on.
Yes.
And then I had my iPad with Kyle Larson's in-car camera, and I was watching that.
Yeah, it's good.
But I did see the Ferraris. They won. So
yes, they did.
Yeah. That's about all I got of it. That's all I saw. I'm not a Max Verstappen hater, but on the whole, like, who's the better race car driver, Kyle Larson or Max Verstappen? I'm always leaning towards Kyle. So
of course.
So I'm always trying to root that, Max gets beat. So then it just helps my case. So I was all for it.
No. The reason I bring it up, a couple of reasons, is I live just 20 minutes from Coda. And so I drive by it every day. And I remember when it first came here, to Austin about 12 years ago now. And it was kind of cool. They had this brand new track, beautifully built. Yep. And I lived actually in downtown Austin at the time. And there were all these cool little small free events that were going on for anyone to attend. Every street level parking lot was transformed into some kind of an event. I'll never forget. In fact, I was out for lunch and listening to the radio, and the DJ said, we just found out that Steven Tyler has driven to town in his McLaren and is parked outside the Four Seasons. I was 3 blocks away. I was like, I got to go see this. So walked over, and sure enough, there's this beautiful black McLaren that Steven Tyler had driven over from California. So it was really this cool thing. Then Liberty Media takes over this whole thing. For those that don't know, Liberty Media, they're the people that own satellite radio, Sirius XM satellite radio. They own F1 now. And what they have done to this sport is zap all of the fun. All those free things I talked about, they're gone.
Yeah.
Everything is done to generate money now for their pocketbooks. The fans don't matter. Yeah. All that matters is them making money. Google search Vegas hates F1. And because they just started in Vegas last year. You will get endless things of the reasons why Vegas hates F1. And I watched it change here from this very fan-friendly thing to, okay, now we have the races during the day, and at night we have concerts. They just had Eminem, they had Sting, which is great. And that's what the locals go to. The locals will go to the concerts. The visitors are mainly foreign, and they go back downtown to party. And by the way, not tip their servers. The servers hate the fact that all these foreigners are there because they never tip.
Tip them.
But Liberty Media doesn't care because they're making all of this money off of this. If you go back to COVID, some of you might have seen the Netflix series Drive to Survive, I think it was called. And that is credited a lot with driving the storytelling that got people to tune into F1. And I give Liberty credit. They did drop because the average viewing age now has dropped by 10 years. So the average viewer is now 10 years younger. The ratings peaked. They've gone down a little bit. So are these the fair weather fans that saw the series and are now tuning out? Possibly. 1 million, just check this stat before. F1 Austin last weekend, 1 million viewers. Average NASCAR event, 3 million viewers.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's just viewers. And,
yeah.
and you talk about the diehard fans, NASCAR. Let's go back to our analogy: football, soccer. This is a NASCAR country. This will always be a NASCAR country. And the fact that Liberty Media is trying to, I look at it as force F1 on people. It's like, watch this. You will watch this. Here's a TV series on Netflix. You will watch this. It's so disingenuous. It's all about them making money. It has nothing to do with the fans. And look, NASCAR is a business. I know that as well. But it seems like it's a lot more fan-centric than F1 could ever be. And you would know more about NASCAR than I would, but that's the way I perceive it.
Yeah, there's always been, so if you look at it, so racing in general is a sport, but it's not a ball and stick sport. So you can never compare it, and it should be never compared to a ball and stick sport, ever. And there are many people in the racing industry that try to compare it to a ball and stick sport, which is completely bonkers and should never, ever happen because they're different. They're not even close. So Parker Kligerman, he is a Xfinity Series driver, the step below the Cup Series. He said this on one of his podcasts not too long ago, that the average person never could drive a race car at full speed around any track ever, because it's just insane what race car drivers in general do. That's F1, IndyCar, NASCAR, all of them. Like the average person could never, they could get in a NASCAR car or an Indy car and go around the track. Yeah, at maybe like half the pace that they do it. But he put it in a real good perspective. Any person that, goes onto an on ramp or an off ramp and they're like cooking, like, you've seen those people, maybe you've done it, but you just haul ass in there and you get the hell out and you're like, he said that is like 1% of what you would be doing in an actual race car, because you're doing that constantly. I've raced go-karts, so like in a league which is nowhere near what it is in a stock car or Indy car, but you're constantly trying to go as fast as you can and push the car as far as you can without spinning out every time. Unless there's certain tracks in NASCAR, there's certain tracks that you can't do that. Otherwise, you're going to wear your tires out. So you got to be conservative and play that kind of strategy game. But in general, that's what any race car driver is trying to do, is basically push the car every single lap to its max potential and do well at that, which the average person could never do that. So that's what drives me nuts when anyone watches any sort of racing. Doesn't matter if it's dirt racing, IndyCar, whatever. Like, they're like, well, I could have done that. Like, no, you couldn't have. No, you couldn't. Not a chance. There's no way you could have done that. So, but to get back onto the NASCAR F1 part, because I lean towards the NASCAR side. I've watched NASCAR for like 23 years of my life. F1, I've maybe watched a handful of races, and it's not even to its entirety. I've just kind of watched it and like, oh, okay, I'm done. I've watched more IndyCar stuff, specifically like the Indy 500. Back when they raced at Michigan, I've watched a few of those, but not as much on there. But I like all the racing because all racing is good. But NASCAR does so much better. One, and this is just stuff that I've heard, the NASCAR drivers are a lot more willing to sign autographs and more cordial to their fans and stay there after hours, or sign stuff and blah, like. And the F1 drivers, this isn't all of them, but some of them will not do that and are very stuck in their ways. They do make a lot more money than most NASCAR drivers, but that is because they have a lot of money from big like Saudi companies and stuff like that, which have millions on billions of dollars. So obviously, if you have more money coming in, you can pay the driver more.
Yep.
So And NASCAR made a rule not too long ago that they didn't want any of those companies coming in and saturating their, their series. But I personally, and this is kind of going a little off, would absolutely love to see racing in the Olympics. And I don't know how they would do this because you can't, and you maybe could do this. Obviously, anyone that's driving an Indy car or F1 that's an open wheel car compared to a stock car, wheels are underneath, different, heavier. Indy cars are like 1,200 pounds. NASCAR 3,400 pounds, way different. So, and there's always that debate, who's better, F1 drivers or NASCAR drivers, and there's always this debate about it. And there's been a few F1 drivers that have come into NASCAR and have failed. Juan Pablo Montoya is probably the most relevant one, and he did, I would say, succeed. He won, I think, 2 races, but other than that, he really wasn't he wasn't a force to be met with every race. But I would love to see it go into the Olympics because you would garner so many eyes. The hardest part is figuring out what they're going to drive. And I don't know if you could do like one race is in the open wheel F1 car, the next race is in the stock car, and then you have a third race that they make some sort of hybrid, something that neither of them have raced in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would definitely, you would get to see, their natural skill in their car, their ability, and then something that none of them have experience in, because that's what makes a great driver. That's what makes a Mario Andretti, AJ Foyt, because they could jump in any race car and win in it. Like, I don't take anything away from Max Verstappen because he can win in those fucking cars like no one's fucking problem. But he's never raced anything else. I don't know. Like, then you go the Kyle Larson route. He's raced dirt cars. He's raced dirt late model cars. He's raced stock cars. He's raced Indy cars, and he's done well in all those. IndyCar he didn't win in, but he did well. So, and that's just one person. Like, those are arguably the top 2 people in their 2 divisions. Like, it'd be fun to see, are there any other talents out there?
Yeah.
But I guess to conclude your point is, yeah, NASCAR does a lot better on garnering their views, but they've lost a lot. Yeah. They used to have over 7 million 10 years ago viewers. Yeah. Not all the time, but their last race. So if I just take the numbers from their last race, 10 years ago, or actually it was 9 years ago, 2015, they had 7 million viewers. Their last race last year, they had 2.9 million viewers.
Yeah.
So
that's a big drop. Part of that has to be attributed though to cord cutting too, because a lot fewer people are have the ability to watch live sports anymore. So that's going to hurt all sports, but I can see that hurting NASCAR.
Yeah, no, it definitely, it's just, I don't know. It drives me insane because I would like them to cater more towards putting out a good product.
Right.
And they're more gimmicky. So like if we just lead into it right now, Joey Logano won at Vegas. That propelled him into the championship race. So basically these next 2 races, all he has to do is show up.
True.
And he could just park the car and he's going to be in the last race. He, in points, if you look at the points right now, he obviously is on the top because he won, but in the driver's standings, he's 15th. So he's not even in the top 10. But this system that they run with the playoffs, which is very confusing to any sort of casual fan that's trying to know what it is, because it's even confusing to me, and I've watched for 23 freaking years. So I think they need to scrap the whole playoff because it's so much easier to tune into a racing series when they can just put up the points or be like, hey, they're just trying to race, obviously to win, you get the most points, blah, blah, blah. That's so much easier to consume, to know. And to that point, if they had no playoffs right now and they were just using their point system, which is the one that I sent you, one of the pictures, it's a non-playoff point standings. And if you look at it, obviously it has Kyle Larson on top, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, William Byron, and they're all under 100 points. So they're all within, and that's doable. Like William Byron could make up 83 points within these last 3 races. He could. It's very well. And that makes it really, really exciting. And if you ever go back, and I know a lot of people don't do this, but I do that a lot. I go back and watch old races just to see, like, obviously it's nostalgia, but is the broadcast, is everything better? And they do so much a better job of painting the picture of the race and everything that's going on. And with these playoffs, all they do is focus on the top 8 drivers. They just forget about everyone else. Top 8 drivers. No one else matters. So if you tune into the race this weekend and you don't have a top 8 driver, they're not going to talk about them. So, and if you go back and watch back in 2013 was when they didn't have this playoff format, they would talk about everyone in the field that was doing well, top 15. But they're only going to talk about the top 8 drivers. So the top 8 drivers could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you could have the other 3 back in 17th, 23rd, and 30th, and they're only going to talk about those people. And it's like, as a NASCAR fan, like, if my driver's not in it, why the hell would I want to tune into that? Like,
exactly.
But I don't know. They think they're getting more views, but if you look at the numbers, even from you can't really look at 2020 numbers because they're skewed, but 2021 to now, they've progressively gone down. Not by a lot, but they're just slowly going down, and it's this format. And they think that this format brings in more eyes. Doesn't. And their biggest race is Daytona, which garners the most eyes. I believe it had 7 million or 8 million views this year. But that race used to garner double that amount 10 years ago. So, and obviously, it's harder to find it, and people with streaming and stuff like that. But they're just, I could sit and talk about this for hours.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to bore everyone because some people are like, don't care about NASCAR, and that's fine. But like, it drives me insane because there are things that they can do, like get rid of the playoffs, because it's not helping anyone. The drivers don't enjoy it. If you put out a poll, I guarantee you, not everyone's not going to like it, but you're going to have at least 2/3 of the people that are going to be like, no, I want a normal point system. F1's a normal point system.
Yeah.
IndyCar's a normal point system. Any dirt series, any grassroots is just a normal point system. There's no gimmicks. There's nothing. And that's what people want. They want to see the best drivers win. Why? How can you say that Joey Logano he's going to be in the last race and all he has to do is beat 3 other people and he'll be the champion? So you're telling me the 15th place guy is the best guy? That doesn't make any sense. No, and for anyone out there like, well, football has their playoffs and you can just sneak into the playoffs and win. Totally different. Not even remotely the same. We're not even remotely the same. It is the Green Bay Packers, when they get into the playoffs, do they have to play against every other team that's still out there? No. It's just that one other player. When these guys go in the playoffs, NASCAR drivers, they're not going head-to-head with just the top 8 drivers. There's still 32 other drivers out there they're racing against. That doesn't make any sense. 0 sense. So either when they get in the playoffs, they need to just, sorry, you're not racing anymore. We're just having these guys race, which that doesn't really make sense.
Ridiculous.
But that would make more sense because, hey, that's what happens in football. We get to the playoffs. That's what happens in baseball. That's what happens in the NBA. We get to the playoffs. If you didn't make it, you're gone. So at that point, like, either commit to what the ball and stick sports do or don't, because you're not a ball and stick sport. Like, it doesn't acclimate. And they used to have a decent system before this, back in 2004 to 2013, which was the first 26 races were normal. Once they got to that 26th spot, the top 10 in points were kind of locked into a playoff, which was called the Chase for the Cup, which made sense. The Chase for the Cup.
Yes, I remember that term.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I think everyone would enjoy that, going back to that, because it was still everyone racing, but it was the top 10 that basically were cut off, and the 11th place guy couldn't get any higher. He was just battling to hold that spot. And then the top 10 were basically reset in a way to an increment. I can't remember exactly what it was because it changed every like 3-4 years. They changed it. But then those 10 drivers would go at it for 10 races. Whoever had the most points by the end of those 10 races got it. And Jimmy Johnson won, I think, 5 or 6 of his championships from that. And I think people just got tired of that and got upset. And it happens in any sport. Tom Brady wins a bunch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of this guy. And I think people were just getting tired of it. Fans were. NASCAR thought, oh, well, we'll just change the system. Again, don't change stuff just because someone is that good. Like, he'll eventually leave. And he did. Like, he's not in the sport. Like, I think that would work out great. Like, just look at how close these points are with no playoffs. Like, and if you were to reset it within 10 races, I guarantee you have a good thing on your hands. And if you look back, and for every person out there that's like, well, I don't want someone to run away with the championship, the last race not to mean anything, because that's what this whole playoff thing is. So they have a chance at the end. From now all the way back to 1990, there's been 6 years that someone won the championship before the last race. So out of the last 3 years, there's been 6 years where someone won it before the last race. I can live with that. Like, you have years where someone runs away with it. That's sports. Get better.
That's interesting.
But everyone is like, no, we can't go back to a full season point. Someone will run away with it. Well, go look back at the stats. They don't lie. It's just it drives me nuts. And obviously the last 10 races, you can't really account for those because you can't win it because they have this playoff system. But if you go from 2013 to 1990, which would be 23 years now?
Yeah.
6 years. Out of those 23 years, 6 years, someone ran away with it. Like, you can't ask for anything more than that. Like, that's less than half. Way less. So, I don't know. I've if anyone enjoys going on to Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it, I'll put my my handle up here. You can go on there and enjoy my ranting and my just nonsense, because you will hear my most true thoughts of NASCAR. That's all I talk about. There's no political. I usually don't talk football on it because it's just my way to tell NASCAR to like shove it or go do this, because like, here are the facts. Like, you guys have the facts. Why can't you? So I don't know.
Yeah.
So if anyone enjoys a good chuckle, just go follow me, because that you'll see it usually every Sunday. I'll post something. Either it's a good one because I enjoyed it, or it's like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, but let's move on to some baseball.
Okay.
So the Dodgers beat the Mets. Yankees beat the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a World Series of Dodgers at the Guardians.
This makes my head hurt. As a Mets fan, again,
or Yankees. Sorry, I said that wrong. Not Guardians.
Yeah. I was, in fact, speaking of Twitter, I was posting on social media because I'm a Mets fan.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to see them lose, the notion of a Yankees-Dodgers World Series, just as a sports fan, got me very excited because that hasn't happened in so long.
Yeah.
And I remember them from when I was a teenager. And so I'm excited just for the competition of it all. Really sorry the Mets are out, but this is kind of best case scenario if the Mets aren't going to be in it. I don't. Oh man, this is one of those that makes my head hurt to think about what could happen. I think the Dodgers.
Yeah.
How much money have they spent on this guy? Like $1 billion, whatever the hell it is. It's just
I don't know as much about baseball, but
okay.
They've spent, like, it's a given that they're both here.
Yeah.
It's almost like, yeah, you should be here.
Yes, exactly. If you weren't, what's wrong with you? Yes.
Yeah. Like, if they don't get there every year, it's like, oops, we need to go spend some more money.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta think, because the Dodgers, it starts in LA.
Yep,
if it goes 7, it ends in LA. I think the home field advantage is gonna be huge for them. But it's the Yankees, and they surprise you. So I could see this going either way. I'm gonna say the Dodgers only because they're playing 4 at home, and they got $1 billion invested in one dude, and it's they want their money's worth. So I just
do you think it's going to be a close series, or do you think
yes,
you think it's going to be a close one? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I do. Once you get back to New York, the fans are going to be riled up. It's just it's going to go 7, 6 maybe, but probably 7. And
okay.
Dodgers, but I wouldn't be betting on it, and I am a betting man, but I would not be putting money on it. I'm not that confident.
Okay. Well, if you don't have anything else with the baseball, we will kind of move into some hockey.
Yes.
So obviously hockey's been going. Lots of games have been going on. Just pulling up my chart here real quick. So, excuse me. As of me writing this on Tuesday, I think it was Wednesday today, the Predators and the Sharks still were winless. So I was going to see if they still were. But besides that, I think there's been a few surprises. I'm not a huge hockey person yet, but it's been growing on me. I've been, living and learning. So I would say my team is the San Jose Sharks, just because I love their logo. That might change, and I might, find a team that I truly like. But as of right now, that's kind of my team, and they're sucking.
Well, there ain't sucking. I mean, this is.
So I know. Just pull up the standings here. Sam and Gary love to follow the Avalanche, and they started off really terrible.
They're in good shape. Not great shape, but
but it's early. A lot of games to be played. So if you're down now, you're truly not out by any means. The Wild are actually doing somewhat decent.
Yes, they are.
Stars are doing good. So I don't know if you have any
going back to the Sharks Predators. It's just I gotta say Predators just because they have actually won one. So Sharks have won nothing. So
okay.
Wild in this, don't we have what's the Wild game that's on our list here? Wild Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Wild are doing good. I think you're maybe overplaying their performance a little bit. They're on a winning streak.
Yeah.
But still only won 4 if my numbers are correct and correct.
Yep. Only 4.
Yeah.
Just more or less saying start wise, I'm not saying they're going to be good. It's early, kind of get a feel, because they just play so many games, kind of like baseball. So, you kind of got to get into the first few months and kind of feel out what they,
Right. No, I was picking the Wild over the Lightning just again, because the Wild, they're 3 in a row now. And so I think the Wild have a very good chance with this one. Tampa Bay is not having their best start ever. So they've gotten 2 losses, I think, under their belt. So I would definitely go with the Wild on that one.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like I said, I haven't watched. I can't say that I've watched more than 2 games yet this year, but I'm slowly. Football's now winding down with me, so now I'm not having to like really focus on football. So now I'm kind of these coming next few weeks, I'm going to kind of dive more into hockey, and then obviously in the NFL, the Chiefs are still the only undefeated team. But the ref Chiefs, whatever you want to call them, because the refs love the Chiefs, so they'll make sure they win. I think they're probably going to go pretty close to undefeated. Probably they'll end up losing 1 game, but I'm not a Chiefs person, and I would really like to just not like them because they're really good, and they're just not that good, but they're winning somehow. So it's frustrating, and some of them are winning because they're just edging out the team, and a good amount of those have been some bad reffing calls, and I don't know. I'm over them.
Yeah, here. I
Yeah.
was that way last year, so yes, don't worry.
And
don't mention her name. You know who I mean.
We won't. It's you just can't get away with it. I don't know if you saw that Monday night game with the Manning brothers when they do their show.
I did not.
They had Bill Belichick on, and like the NFL likes to do anytime she's there, they scroll the camera over, and Bill Belichick was like, oh. Because he was just tired of it. And it's like, why do we need to see her there? Like, I'm watching the game. I'm not like, if I want to go see her, I'm going to go to her concert. Like,
I love it.
It's not like, oh man, I got to watch the Chiefs so I can see her. Oh man, this is fun. Like, no, there's the only person that's saying that is the person that would go. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't go to a concert, but like, it's a person that doesn't want to watch football and they just want to see her. And that's, and it's like, oh yeah, of course.
Yes. You know, I hate to say it, but odds are just with my broadcasting background, I can understand partially why they do that. Yeah. And it goes back to getting women to watch the shows. If you've ever wondered why, when you watch the primetime Olympics, they do 10 minutes of storytelling of one athlete, it's because the women get drawn to that. The men want to watch the competition. The women want the storytelling. And I'm not trying to stereotype anything. These are facts that they have studied. And so I think by swinging the camera over and getting a shot of her, the women that are kind of tolerating their guy watching this, it's like, oh my gosh, there she is. And so for that moment, it's their reason to watch the game. So I'm just hate on me if you want, but that's a fact that they have to do something to keep women watching these shows sometimes.
No, I don't doubt, and they've garnered a ton of views from her. Like, and everyone loves a good love story, so that's another.
Can we move on?
Everyone loves drama too, so they're waiting. I guess a couple other notable NFL games from last week. Detroit beating Minnesota was a huge game. It was a really good game to watch in general. I very much enjoyed it because Minnesota lost, but I enjoyed watching it because it was a really good battle. So it was back forth, and then it literally came down to the last drive. So
I didn't see the actual game, but I saw the highlights, and it was one of those that I would have, would have kept my attention at the very end. It's just, and I'm glad, and again, not to get, it was still the Minnesota game to pick and everything, and so I don't want to say too much here, but I do think things are looking very good for Minnesota this year. So we'll talk more about that in a minute.
Yeah. I guess the other game that I really wanted to talk about before we get into some final tidbits before we get into the game show part, but The Jets. A lot of talk around the Jets because of Aaron Rodgers. Everyone, you either love the guy or hate the guy, and there's really not too much in between. At least I feel that way because the media loves to eat him alive, and he could. So everything that's been going on, if they're winning right now, they're praising him. But he's losing, so now they're thinking he's just the worst cancer ever.
Yes.
And I just and it's in the New York Jets. Like if this is in any other, I guess any other state, because I guess the Bills have been doing better, over the last few years, but the Giants and Jets have just sucked, and the Jets have sucked since 1969. Obviously, they had a small run with Rex back in like early 2000s to 2010. They had a small little run with Rex, but otherwise, that's a franchise very similar to the Browns that has just bled. And they obviously thought that Aaron Rodgers coming there was their messiah and going to save them and all that. And I truly think they can still go out and do something if, there's definitely talent there. And it's just, they're under a microscope because it's New York. It's Aaron Rodgers, so they're under a microscope. So everything's going to get scrutinized. And you can say whatever you want about Aaron Rodgers, and I'm definitely defending him in this point, is he has the numbers to back everything up. That guy has some of the best numbers that any quarterback has ever put out in anyone's lifetime. The only person that can outduel him in numbers wise, Breeze, Manning, and Brady. And Brady just has the numbers because Brady has played for like 50 fucking years. Manning has the numbers because he was just a damn good quarterback, and Breeze could throw like the ball. He get like 5,000 yard seasons. Like you could count on it. Like, oh, he's gonna get another 5,000 yard season. So, but besides those ones, obviously there's a few others like Brett Favre and Marino and stuff, but those are a little older style. They're from a different generation. But you just look at Aaron Rodgers' touchdown to interception ratio. Obviously, this year it's not as good, but he still has a better touchdown to interception ratio than Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes is winning, so he's not under the microscope. So if they're winning, no one's saying anything. And it's just because it's Aaron Rodgers, it's the Jets. I think they start turning it around. I don't think it's a Super Bowl team by any chance unless they literally like catch fire, which I'm not saying it won't happen, but it's a very small chance. Like they literally have to start winning basically every game out. And it takes a little time to get that chemistry back with Devontae and him. Obviously, they have that chemistry. I think chemistry is everything. And I've told this story a few weeks ago. I'm a Packer fan, but the Packers front office pisses me the fuck off because they let Jordy Nelson walk. Obviously, they offered him a certain amount of money. Other teammates of his, Aaron Rodgers or anyone else, probably could have taken a pay cut and saved him. But my God, like, we're here to win the game, like, get a fucking Super Bowl. That's the whole point of NFL. Mm-hmm. Is to win a Super Bowl, not to, hey, let's see how much money you can get. Like, obviously, money's important. They want to make money. Everyone wants to make money. But that's the ultimate goal, is to win Super Bowls. And that's it.
Yeah.
At that time, Jordy Nelson was on his way out. Like, he was older. His career was going down. Devontae Adams was just coming up. He was basically their number one receiver at that time. But Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson still had that chemistry. Those two on the outside, even for that one more year, like just sign him one more year. They probably could have, would have, should have went to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying they would have won, but they would have had chemistry is everything. You can't buy chemistry. You can't do anything except for let it happen. Chemistry is built and it's just there, and that's it. And it's like that. That is why teams are so good. Is it's built off of chemistry. Like if you look back at the Patriots, I hated the Patriots in the beginning. At the end of their career, I enjoyed them because it was kind of a weird hate relationship because everyone else hated the Patriots and I enjoyed the Patriots. But if you look at their defense, it was never amazing defense, but they just had some of the, I'm not dogging them by any means, some of the best Joe Schmoes that just really, collaborated. And their defense has won them a few that one Super Bowl with the Seahawks from the interception. Even though that was a Pete Carroll bad decision, they still won it for him. So I don't know what your thoughts are on Aaron Rodgers. And if it's the opposite way, that's totally fine. But I just think people need to cut him some slack because he might be running the show, but it's Aaron Rodgers. He has the credentials and all that. And it is the Packers 2.0 that they're running there. But it's like, you're the Jets. You haven't been relevant. Like, you signed Aaron Rodgers to try and win a championship now, not later.
Yeah.
So,
well, and at 2-5, they're not exactly relevant at the moment anyways, but no. It's funny you bring up Aaron Rodgers because I don't follow him that closely, but about a week ago, I was listening to Boomer Esiason in the morning, and he has been brutal towards Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if anyone watching has heard this or not, but he has just been the biggest critic. And I had to just find the quote, the one line, and he brings up a point because all the teamwork and all of this, it's also about leadership. And what Boomer said, and again, I'm just paraphrasing from a tweet. I don't ever remember, this is Boomer talking, I don't ever remember, let me back up, because what Aaron Rodgers had said at one of the press conferences over their loss to the Bills was he blamed Williams for running the wrong route on his late interception that cemented the loss. And Boomer, and he brought up a good point, says, I don't ever remember Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or anybody else saying anything publicly behind the podium the way that Aaron did last night, kind of throwing Williams under the bus for what happened. Says, I'm shocked that Aaron Rodgers said what he did last night about Williams. And that does bring up a good point. It's like, because you are kind of the leader, and I can't imagine Brett Favre ever doing anything like that. Just, publicly in front of the press, throwing one of his teammates under the bus like that. Yeah. So I kind of understand that criticism. I get your point, but he's got to be open to criticism when he does things like this. And again, 2-5, it's just, he deserves some criticism. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the criticism. Yeah. I'm just saying everywhere I've watched the last 2 weeks, because they've obviously lost. Well, they've lost the last 3 games, I think, but it's just been Aaron Rodgers this, Aaron Rodgers that. And I get that you're the quarterback because they're going to take the brunt. Besides the head coach, the quarterback's going to take the brunt of all that. But there's just there's been a vendetta against Aaron Rodgers for the last 5 years. And that's either a personal thing or not. And it's just like, I feel like, I just feel like they microscope him a little more just because they don't, like, Skip Bayless doesn't like him at all. And he said that multiple times. Yeah. But when he does do something good, Skip will be like, he's a great guy, great quarterback. So, like, I don't know. It's something you'll never change someone's mind because they're set in their ways. But it's a fun thing to talk about. Well, like I hear Boomer Esiason talking about it all the time on his show. So yeah, it is a fun thing to talk about. Yes.
So I'm not saying like, hey, you should probably stop. You're an idiot. It's just people are gonna, like, his whole career he's kind of been that kind of like love-hate kind of thing. So it's just, now you're in New York, you're not in Green Bay. you're in a huge city, a huge metropolis. So, and you're on a team that hasn't had success in who like I said, since they went on the moon, basically. So,
Pretty much.
so
You're right. Pretty much.
So like you're with you're working with very impatient people.
Yeah.
Who just saw Tom Brady not too long ago go from New York to Tampa Bay and bring them a championship, and they're expecting basically the same thing from you. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I literally just because I'm Google searching his age. I thought, is he 40? And yeah, he's 40.
Yeah, he's
He'll be
40,
41 in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And now I just, as I'm Google searching this 4 hours ago, just revealed Aaron Rodgers dealing with new injury. So I haven't clicked this and read this yet, but I don't know what that's.
Yeah, he's been struggling with like his knee and a calf issue. So
okay, I had read something about that. Oh, okay.
He's kind of been dealing with that the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it makes me wonder if he doesn't. And again, I guess I'd probably be getting a little more defensive if I was at his age, because this is probably his last hurrah. This is it.
Yeah.
So if I'm a 2-5 and I realize, okay, this is my last chance at glory, I might be a little more defensive too, and I might be like he's behaving. So I'm not saying that it's right, but
he basically, I would say he has probably one more good year. Not to say this isn't a good year, but he probably has one. Like I would say next year would be his last kind of hurrah.
Yeah.
Unless he decides to hang it up after this year, but I don't know. We'll find out. It'll be interesting because once he leaves, there is basically no more quarterbacks from the 2000
you're right.
It's so something weird that I saw and looked at is obviously Tom Brady just left a year or two ago. He was in the league forever, but Peyton Manning left in 2018 or something like that. That Eli left. What's his nuts from the Chargers? Man, I can't think of his name. Their quarterback, but Drew Brees left. A lot of these main quarterbacks that we've known for 20 years are gone. And then Aaron Rodgers came in 2005. Then we had this draft class with Cam Newton, RG3, all these guys from 2012 to about 2016. All these quarterbacks came in and they busted. They basically busted. They didn't, not all of them busted, but some of them played for 3-4 years. And then they started plateauing. And it's all about a quarterback driven league. If you don't have a good quarterback, they're just oh, get rid of you. So they get rid of you and they draft new people. And we've had this rotation of new people in. And then 2020 draft class came around, which is your Joe Burrows, your Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love. What's the quarterback from Buffalo? Can't remember his name. I can see him. All the ladies love him, apparently. What the hell's his name? That's going to drive me insane. Bills quarterback. See his stupid face.
Josh Allen?
Yes, thank you. But we had all those guys come in, and that's going to be the face of the NFL once Aaron Rodgers leaves. Not that Aaron Rodgers was a face, but basically all those quarterbacks from that 2012 to 2016 era that should still be around, you would think, aren't. They're just out of the league. They're gone.
And what I've been able to think of is, and I think he started in that era, not as Dak Prescott. He was somewhere around that
He might have been 2016, 2017, right on that edge. Because then we had Patrick Mahomes come in around there. So there's a few that right off that edge, that 2016.
You're right. It's hard to think of someone.
But yeah, all those people like have vanished. So like, not to say that Aaron Rodgers is holding it together, but Aaron Rodgers is the last of that early 2000 quarterbacks, and there'll be no more, and it'll all be 2020 basically. So it's going to be a new it's already shifted to a new thing, but yeah. So
wow. Okay.
But NBA already has started, obviously.
Yes.
And it's back, and it's all week. B-ball here is all week. So I'm not gonna say I don't watch NBA, but the only time I really watch basketball is during March Madness, just because of the gambling aspect, and it's just a tournament. I like playing basketball though. I never played it as a kid professional, like as in a league, but it's fun to play like a pickup game. Like I enjoy that, or pig, horse. I love those. But I don't know what your thoughts are on.
No, I had forgotten about that when you mentioned sports. We had a basketball hoop at one of the houses that we lived in, and I do remember many an afternoon just outside, just throwing into the hoop. So you're right. Yeah. Never played on a team, never played in any capacity, even in school.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those sports that if it's on, I will watch. I don't follow it closely. When the Spurs had a decent team, yes, I was a little bit more fair weather fan, I guess, when it comes to it. So, but past few years, Spurs haven't been doing what they used to. So, again, if it's on, I'll watch it. But otherwise, it's not like I make a point to clear my calendar to watch any basketball game.
Yeah. Yeah. So that starts this week. We'll have a few extra games than normal because basketball starting. So I was like, you know what, we'll do some extra basketball.
I like it.
So we did that. I guess the last thing for current events, there's no buys for any football teams this week. So anyone with any fantasy teams don't have to worry about swapping any of your players out. So that's a positive on that. But yeah, other than that, that's about it for current events that I noticed, at least. I don't know if you have any extra current events or thoughts.
That's one I brought that up already, and that's believe me, enough has been said about that, so we don't need to discuss that anymore. So that is it.
Well,
wait, I'm sorry. I do want to just because again, not something I follow, but since you were talking about basketball, the Minnesota Lynx lost their game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know anything more about this than I do, but apparently there's some controversy over a foul near the end of the game.
I don't know. I don't follow the Lynx close enough.
Yeah, I don't either. But apparently this foul was called that many people say shouldn't have been called, and it could have changed the course of the game because it was such a close one. So that's all. Again, I heard a little bit. Monday Morning Boomer was talking about it, and that's really all I know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I will say that the Lynx are the best Minnesota team.
Wow, I guess you're right.
That you can count on. That you can count on every year, true. At least to give you a little we are going to do something.
Yes, that's a good point.
So, yeah, that's the positive.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah. Well, we'll get started on the meat and potatoes, the main game show part. So, anyone that doesn't know. Actually, before we did do that, I actually did want to mention about our bums and studs. So
this is BS. This is
so we do some bums and stud rankings on our social medias, all of our social medias. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and then also YouTube. We post it every week. We'll do a NASCAR one, an NFL one, NHL, and then we will be doing an NBA one. So go check that out. I'll pop a couple of them up on the screen. But I wanted to mention a couple fun ones on here. And on the NASCAR side, excuse me, I put the NASCAR playoffs in the bums in fraud area in jail because it's a fraudulent system and they need to fix it. So I did that. And other than that, I put Lee Diffie still in the studs and dog because I love listening to Lee Diffie talk. If you haven't listened to him, you should definitely go listen to him because he has his Australia or New Zealand accent that just it's really good. If you haven't seen it, listen to him. When you get done with this show, just type in Lee Diffie or just type in the Las Vegas race and listen to his voice. He's very good at painting the picture for you, kind of like a radio analysis or a radio broadcaster has to paint you a picture. He's very. I enjoy him very much, and the people that give him hate just because of the way he talks or his accent are brain dead. So because he's very good at what he does, very good. But switching over to the NFL side, we got our classics down in the clown fraud area, and that is Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. I put Minnesota and the Kansas City Chiefs in the fraudulent area because Minnesota, we all know they're frauds. They're just waiting to show their true selves. They're not there yet. And then Kansas City's a fraud because the refs help them out. So other than that, Baltimore and the Lions are in the stud and dog area because they are really kicking some ass. And I would really watch out for them. Also, notable mention is the Washington Commanders. Very sneaky team. I think people are underlooking them right now just because they're the Washington Commanders. And other than that, I don't know if you have any bums or studs that you want to shout out throughout the week. Anyone?
Well, I told you before we started recording how much I love your fraud section. Two people in particular. I just adore that. Just annoying announcers, just awful. Yeah. I have to ask you though, why Houston, the Texans, are so far down there?
Well, see, they're just down there because the gripe I have with Houston is with CJ Stroud. He called out don't crucify me for this. I believe it was something with Aaron Rodgers when he was on the Packers, and I can't remember the quote that he said, but it just drove me insane. And I was like, all right, CJ Stroud, you just need to step off. And then I obviously put Diggs down in the bottom corner because that guy loves getting into it with everyone. I don't know if you saw the beginning of the Texans and Packers game. He was just all up in their face. Yeah. And I enjoy that. That you always got to have a villain. You got to have a villain. But that guy is just he's a clown. So
very good. I didn't ask about that one. I knew why that one.
Very good because I put him in the corner because he is a stud. He does have the ability to.
Amazing. But
CJ Stroud is down there because obviously he lost to the Packers after making that assumption or that quote that I can't even say. But this is just a week to week, so it'll probably change next week. And the Houston just there just because they lost against the Packers, so they had to move down. I think I had them. I don't even know where I had them last week. So, but it changes every week, so check it out. But yeah, I don't know if you have any notable ones that you want to put anywhere. It can be baseball. It could just be a normal person. Any frauds, any bums, anyone you want to shout out that's a fraud or a bum or a stud.
God, I wish I thought of this earlier. I know I could think of some besides the whole F1 Liberty Media organization as frauds. I almost, and God, don't hate me, Lynx fans, but I just with the moaning I saw on social media, I almost want to put them down a little. I understand your frustration with this foul, but it's just shut up about it. Be happy you had such an amazing season. It's just, you made it so far.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, New York has never won that game at all. I can't think of the name of the New York team, but so it's, be happy that you made it that far. It's just, and stop with the incense and whining about one foul that may or may not have cost you the game. That happens in every sport.
Yeah.
It's just that that ball was out of play. It's like, well, the refs didn't see it that way, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's just get over it, move on. It's so.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to say I don't complain when the refs make a bad call, but it is unfortunately part of the game.
It comes with the territory. Exactly.
So, well, yes, now we will get into the game part of it. And to explain to everyone how this game works is, it is a challenge between me, the host, and Shawn, the guest. And we will go through a bunch of games, NBA, NFL, NBA, NHL, NASCAR, different ones that I've picked out, hand selected. There's 30 points, so you get 30 points possible, most points. If for some reason someone gets 30 out of 30, and that could be me, that could be the guest, whoever does it, I will do an amateur / parody of 30 for 30 on their life. So the old ESPN 30 for 30s. So that is the one winning thing if you're able to get 30 out of 30. But how it works is we go through them, we pick our teams. You get 1 point for every time you get it correct. And we'll know everything in the score by the end of Monday Night Football's game. By the end of that game, obviously this video will be posted. You want to post punishments in the comments. The punishment is only for me, the host. So if I end up losing and there's a punishment down there that has at least one or more likes, whichever has the most likes, I have to do that punishment, do it, and post it, as long as it's not illegal or something I can't do. So other than that, if I do win and there is a punishment down there, I don't have to do it. And if there's no punishment posted down there, I don't have to do anything. So that's up to you guys if you want to make me do a punishment. If not, I'm going to try and win for the first time ever. Other than that, do you have any questions? Otherwise, we'll get started.
Not a one. I am feeling more confident in some of these picks I wasn't sure about earlier, so I am ready to go.
All right. Well, our first game that we are starting off is Thursday, which will be tomorrow. And we're doing some NBA, and we have some Boston Celtics at the Washington Wizards. And we can go back forth on who picks, or we can go all me first. It doesn't matter. There's no thing. But why don't you pick first, this first one?
This is the easiest one, probably the Boston Celtics. I mean,
taking Boston. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would normally take Boston, just because Sammy Adams loves Boston Celtics. I need to win. Okay. So I'm going with the Wizards.
Okay.
It's the first game. I'm thinking maybe the Boston Celtics mess up, oops, we're a little rusty or something. And I just squeak a victory there, get an early lead. That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay. Boston won last night, just so you know. So it's just, saying.
I didn't look up the games from yesterday, so that's my bad. Okay. So, but thanks for telling me after the fact.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah,
really? Yeah. That's bad research on me.
Exactly.
But you know what? If I research, I get screwed over. If I don't research, I get screwed over. So I'm at the point where, I'm trying to stick with whatever sticks. So
okay.
The second game that we have is the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Sacramento Kings. I know Minnesota was really good last year. I can't remember what Sacramento, how good they were. But even though I'm not a Minnesota fan, I'm going to go with Minnesota, even though they're not at home.
Yeah. No, we can't pick the same one.
What? You can. Yeah.
Okay.
You can pick the
because when I was driving home from work last night, they were talking about the Minnesota Lakers game last night.
Yeah.
And Minnesota should have won that one. There was a couple points in the game that where I'm trying to remember something with a shot that they made. It was on the radio, so I can tell for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota should have won that, and so I'm going to stick with Minnesota.
Minnesota. All right, perfect. Yeah, no, we can definitely pick the same one. It's just if we both get it right, we both get the points. Okay. So, which is fine, because then it really comes down to these other games like the Boston Celtics and the Wizards. Sticking with Thursday, we have an NFL game, which is the 5-1 Minnesota Vikings at the 2-4 LA Rams. Also, you'll notice some of these games have their record on there. Some don't. The reason why I did that is because when I made this earlier, I didn't have their record because they were playing some games before this, so that's why. So you'll notice that. Do you have a favorite team on this one? Otherwise, I can tell you who I'm going to pick.
Well, this is one of those where I'm torn. And on paper, it should be obvious you pick Minnesota. But they're playing in LA, and LA has a good home record. So I'm wondering if that's going to play to their advantage. They won last week, so they've got a little bit of momentum behind them. I think I'm going to regret this, but I'm going with the Rams. It's that gut instinct I talked about earlier. It's just my gut is telling me, even though on paper everything says something else, I'm going with LA on this one.
Man, I want to go with LA because I'm not a Vikings fan by any means, but I'm going to go with Minnesota.
Yeah,
because of this one reason. And Michael Barnes is going to watch this, and if Minnesota wins, that flag can go bye-bye.
Best reason ever. I love it.
Also on Thursday, we have NHL. We have 4 games that we're going to pick from for those. We have the Minnesota Wild at the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think you already picked on this one. Was that correct? Was that Minnesota you were going with?
Correct. And that was one where I literally could have flipped a coin. It was just last minute when you were doing your opening. I thought, no, it's gonna be Minnesota.
I'm going with the Tampa Bay Lightning because I can't take that. I can't take all the Minnesota teams because that would be just stupid. So,
no, you got a good chance with that one, I think. But it's what it is. I'm gonna stick with Minnesota.
Then we have the Dallas Stars at the Boston Bruins. I'm digging the Boston Bruins. That's who I'm taking. Just because.
I'm happy to hear that because I had written down Dallas again, last minute decision. So that works out perfect. I mean, Dallas is 5-2 right now. So I feel good about that one, but it was close. So that could go either way.
All right. Well, it's fine with me. It's definitely going to stress me out, though, because now we got opposite sides there. Oh, man. I'm already regretting these decisions, and I'm 0-6.
Yes, you are. Yes.
I felt like the Jaguars, but the Jaguars are beating me. They got to win. Well, our next game is the Florida Panthers at the New York Rangers. I have not a flipping clue who I'm going to pick here.
Oh, I do.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Who's that?
Rangers. That is almost too easy. Rangers, undefeated. And again, since I listen to a lot of sports radio out of New York, I've heard a lot of good things about this team. I know it's early. What is it, 6 games, 5 games in, but I feel very good about that.
I'm going to piggyback off that and go with that just so I can get a few points in the bank. Don't fall too far behind. And Florida Panthers. That just sounds like a horrible name. Like it's hot, sweaty, and then there's a panther with.
I never even thought about that. Very good point. Yes.
Like, I really like to look at the teams and their logos because I like to critique them. When we get to the college football, a lot of those teams and their mascots or their names really just drive me absolutely insane. Like,
I can't wait.
Why would you pick this name? And I could probably make a whole series off of just stupid names for stupid colleges, and it's like you couldn't think of anything better, or
on our next game, what the hell is a Kraken?
I actually had that conversation with Garvey on the last one. I was like, I don't know what a Kraken is. I've had the drink, the Kraken, the whiskey, I think it is, or Captain Kraken. I've had that. So what is it?
Yeah.
The Seattle Kraken whiskeys? I don't know. So I don't know. But yeah, so we have the Winnipeg Jets at the Seattle Kraken. I'm going with the Jets because I didn't pick the Jets last week, and they won.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So. I'm going to have to be in total agreement. They had an amazing season last season, and it's starting off this way as well. So it has to be.
It is, yeah. So moving on to Friday, we have the one baseball game, and it is the first game, the New York Yankees at the LA Dodgers. Who are you taking the first game?
I think I already said I think LA is going to win most of their home games, so I'm going to stick with LA.
All right. Almost did the wrong mark. I'm going opposite. I'm going Yankees. They're going to steal this one somehow. I don't know how, but they're going to do it. They're going to do it, and that's going to seal my victory.
Yeah, I like your enthusiasm on it. You just keep telling yourself that.
So Friday again, we got some NBA. Philadelphia 76ers at the Toronto Raptors. You want me to go first on this one? Because
go ahead.
I don't have a dog in this fight, but I'm a big dinosaur fan, and I love Raptors, so I'm going with the Raptors.
I love that. Man, I haven't followed either team that closely. I'll just go with Philadelphia just so we're not on the same page with that.
Oh, so. Yeah. Really make it more difficult for me.
Yeah. No idea on that one.
Next one we got Memphis Grizzlies at the Houston Rockets. Who are you taking there?
I'm going to have to go with Houston. I can't remember what it was, but there was something I heard in the local news a few nights ago that made it sound like, wow, they got something going on there. So I don't even know if they won yet. Have they played yet? I didn't even look. Houston is not. No.
I think they have.
Yeah. So
I was looking for this game specifically because I knew it would be like, I don't know if you could not go up against them.
Yeah, Memphis hasn't played either. So.
Well, I'm taking the Grizzlies just because.
You like Bears?
No, I don't. They're scary.
Oh, okay.
Unless I'm visiting them at a zoo, then I'm fine. The next one, though, the battle of the horns versus the antlers, because they're not the same thing. So let's get that. You would never say, man, that buck has big horns on it. And if you you need to be corrected because those
good point, Lucas. Yes. There's one takeaway from this whole thing. That's it.
So we got the Chicago Bulls at the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going Milwaukee because, yeah.
Good. I was going to say Chicago, so that's perfect.
Great. Yeah, this is just gonna. I'm either gonna look like the smartest person ever, or I'm gonna have my lowest score yet.
Oh no, that's going to be possible. I mean, I'm as blind on some of these as you are here.
And some of them, it's their first game. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think this is the last one on Friday. Yep. The last one on Friday that we picked is the Phoenix Suns at the LA Lakers. Who are you taking on this one?
I know LA beat the Wolves last night, so I'll say LA. They have
a
tiny bit of momentum behind them. So
I'm going to go with the LA Lakers also because Kobe Bryant used to play on there, and Kobe died on my birthday, and I don't let that go. So there we go. It's a little morbid, but
yes, it is.
Maybe he'll give me some good luck. So,
Okay.
now we're on to college. So, and I did pick some teams that do piss me off on their names, and the first one is here, and it's the 4-3 Maryland Terrapins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's a terrapin. Maybe you can.
I think it's a bird, but I wouldn't bet money on it.
Well, if it's a bird, that's probably one of the worst birds you could pick because I don't know what the heck that is. Like that. Oh man, that. When I saw this game, one, I picked it because there's Minnesota in it, but I was like, God, that pisses me off. That grinds my gears. And they're at the 4-3 Minnesota Golden Gophers. I'm not a huge Minnesota fan, but I'm taking them because the Terrapins piss me off.
Well, and by the way, it's even worse than I thought. A terrapin is actually North America's only species of backwater turtles. So it's a slow animal for a basketball team.
Well, this is football now.
Well, football. I'm sorry, football.
But still, what about the Maryland Turtles? That's way better. Maryland Turtles. It's simple. It's easy.
People would know what it is.
You don't have to always use big words, especially in sports.
I don't. I follow mainly SEC games now since the Longhorns moved divisions, and so I don't even know.
Well,
I'll take the Turtles just for the hell of it. Yeah. I refuse to call them the Terrapins or the Turtles.
I know. Well, at least I learned something. So,
yes.
The next one is the 6-1 Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who are ranked 12th.
Yeah.
At the 6-0 Navy, who are ranked 24. Who are you taking?
Well, one of my good friends follows the Fighting Irish, so every week I hear about them, and in their ranking, I mean, they're number 12. It's just I don't think there's a way they can overcome Navy. This is one of those that I would bet money on this one, Fighting Irish.
You're taking Fighting Irish. I'm taking the home team. I'm taking Navy. They're gonna pull something out of their butt. I don't know what.
Okay. All right.
All right. I've had this one on a lot on the show because they always play good teams, it seems like. But this is probably my least favorite fucking team ever. The Illinois Fighting Illini?
Illini.
What the
Illini.
Excuse my French, what the fuck is an Illini?
Oh,
it's a bat. I don't know.
Like look that one up. That is an Illini.
Like that is like Illinois is already a weird name to begin with. Yeah. Like and then we're gonna do like this, like the worst name ever. Worst name ever.
A passenger train? What? Oh, I'll refer to a group of Native American tribes that lived in the Mississippi River Valley. It's also a passenger train.
Well, either one you could find a better name for.
Yes.
Either one. Oh my God. Well,
thought all the Native American names were supposed to have gone away anyways. That wasn't even a thing that you used.
If people don't know how to say it or what it is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I like that it could be a train. I like that. The Illinois Fighting Trains.
Makes more sense. I know.
The Illinois Fighting Trains. That sounds aggressive. And then they could have a train on their helmet, and then it could have like arms coming out of it, like it's fighting. Like that's something.
Brilliant idea.
I don't know why they're not doing that. But
yes.
They're 6-1. They're ranked 20, and they're at the 7-0 Oregon Ducks. I like the Ducks, and I just do not like Illinois at all. So I'm taking the Ducks.
Again, this is one just because the Longhorns were number 1 until last week.
They were.
And so I can't support Oregon, and so I will have to take the trains. So we'll just go with that.
Trains.
Yeah.
Hey, this is interesting. You've taken all the away teams. I've taken all the home teams.
Have I really?
Yes.
I didn't think about it. You're right.
We're on the last one, and it's the 6-1 LSU Tigers, ranked 8 at the 6-1 Texas A&M, ranked 14.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to go all away?
Going into this, I was going to say A&M just because that's my stepmother's alma mater, so I should pick it just because of that. But you got me rethinking it now. Tigers, they are ranked number 8.
They are.
Damn it. You know what? Yeah, just for consistency, Tigers. I'll take the Tigers.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect, because I was going to stay all home teams. Once I saw that going, I was like, we're staying all home. Oh. That's going to be an interesting series because we're all opposite on that one.
It's going to be an interesting Saturday. So.
Yeah, that will be. And then that's also, I got to do my, there's also a baseball game on that one too. So we didn't pick that one, but that's game 2.
Oh, so, you're right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
That's when I'm doing my 999 challenge. So.
Okay.
So now we're on to Sunday. Sunday we'll start off with NASCAR. They're at Homestead, Miami. So I have 2 things you can choose from. And the reason why I chose these 2 drivers, you can pick letter A, which is Kyle.
Oh, I see what you did.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I thought it was 3 choices, but I get it now. Okay.
We got Kyle Larson or Tyler Reddick that you can pick as a group because they are arguably the 2 best drivers at this track. They love ripping the top of the wall. They're really good at this track. Or the rest of the field, anyone else. So there's 38 drivers in this whole thing. So you're either taking 2 drivers, and it's Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick, or you're taking the 36 others. I'm going to stick with Kyle Larson because I got it, and Tyler Reddick's really good. So I'm taking A.
And just as a betting person, the odds are
a lot more.
18 to 1 that happens. So I will take anyone else. So,
anyone else?
perfect.
All right. I like that. I like that. Oh man, I can already see this. Oh, I'm either going to look like the best person ever, or
at least you'll be consistent.
This is going to be my worst game. I've never gotten less than 12.
Really?
No. But I've never gotten higher than, I think, 17. So
this will be interesting.
So and the highest guest has gotten 21, which was Sam.
So I don't know if I'm that confident. Of course he would get 21.
I know. So moving on to football. The 2 games that I did take out were the Kansas City Chiefs at the Oakland Raiders, or the Las Vegas Raiders. I took that one out because I feel like no one's going to pick Oakland.
Right.
And then the other one was the Ravens at the Browns. Even though they're a division game, I don't know how you can pick the Browns. So, so I took those 2 out. So those are gone. Call. So because we couldn't get 30 points. I like to always have 30 points.
Right.
So, the first game, though, noon games, we got the 5-2 Packers at the 2-5 Jacksonville Jaguars. I didn't even know the Jacksonville Jaguars had 2 wins, but I'm going with Packers. So
how can you not? I mean, that's easy.
Yeah, I will agree. Number 2 game is the 3-4 Arizona Cardinals at the 2-4 Miami Dolphins. This could be a stinker.
Yeah.
The Arizona Cardinals have shown a little more life. They won last week. Miami Dolphins have been just spiraling since Tua left. So it is at home. I think the Cardinals still take this.
I'm glad you said it. The Cardinals, their quarterback situation couldn't suck any more than it does. So I'm taking Miami. So
All right.
That's perfect for me then.
our next one, which also could be a stinker.
Yes.
The 2-5 New York Jets at the 1-6 New England Patriots. And if the New York Jets win, this will be the first time that they've swept the Patriots since, what is it, like 10 years or something?
Really?
Yeah. I just saw that
I
stat.
hadn't heard that.
I should have wrote it down. I saw it this morning. I don't know if you look it up real quick. Yeah. So it hasn't been done in a long time because obviously Brady was there for the longest of time, and then even when he left, the Jets couldn't sweep the series. And New England hasn't been much better. So if they're able to, this will be the first time in like decades, at least a decade for sure, if not longer. So I'm rooting for that. So I'm going with the Jets. But it's in the Patriots. So, oh man.
I'm trying to think of a reason to say Patriots. I really am. And
well, you could just be like, they're the home team.
That's all I had. You literally said that's the only thing I can think of. And no, Jets. I can't.
Right.
We're probably both going to be terribly wrong on this, and it's going to be embarrassing. But God, I'm tempted. Hang on, don't make it official yet. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
Hang on. 1-6. Hometown. I say what the weather's going to be like, but each team is cold weather. It's not going to matter. Yeah. Shit. No, stick with Jets.
All right. It's locked. Next game, the 2-4 Philadelphia Eagles at the 3-4 Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals are just the biggest frauds ever, and they don't know who they are. Even though they got a good quarterback, they're like a step above the New York Jets. They got their shit together a little better.
Yeah.
But they're not that great. Philadelphia's not great, but I'm taking Philadelphia.
What'd you say? You're taking Philadelphia?
I am taking Philadelphia, yeah.
Because I'm torn on this.
It's at home.
The Cincinnati defense sucks. But again, gut instinct. I am going to take Cincinnati. This might be another one that I regret, but there's just something that's telling me.
Okay. Also, if you notice on the sheet, I didn't try to put that punctuation up there for Bengals. That was an autocorrect, and I didn't catch it.
I did not notice that, but good on you for noticing that.
Yeah, I noticed that right after I sent it and printed it out. I was like, oh, shit. Well, at least you and I are the only people seeing it. So
yes, that's good call
out. But the next game is the 4-3 Indianapolis Colts at the 5-2 Houston Texans. I got to take the Houston Texans. They're at home. I don't think the Colts make an upset by any means.
That's interesting that you say that because I was fully expecting you
to go the other way
to take the Colts.
No, I'm trying to win.
It's what novel approach you're taking. You have to do it while you're up against me. Great, thanks a lot.
So you can either join the team and we won't get any points, or you can go the other way.
Oh boy. Because the Texans won against the Colts. I think it might have been week 1.
Yeah,
but it wasn't by much, and so that's what has me nervous. Oh shit! Did Houston lose last week? Yes, that was the Packers. That's right.
Yep. So they're gonna want some redemption.
I know.
And they're at home.
I'm gonna have to say Houston because it's redemption is the key word there. I think we might both be wrong on that. We might be surprised, but
That just makes the Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Arizona, and Dolphins game just that more important.
Yeah, exactly.
The next one is the 1-5 Tennessee Titans at the 5-1 Detroit Lions. Which one are you going to take?
Why did you even put this in here?
Because there's a chance that maybe the Detroit Lions fall on their face.
They just don't show up.
Yeah.
Tennessee. Because I literally last night I went online because I was very curious what the spread is for this game with the Vegas odds makers. Lions by 11 is the spread right now. So it's come on, nobody's expecting Lions.
Lions?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm feeling very confident on my NASCAR one where it's going to be Kyle Larson or Tyler Reddick that I can take a mulligan, and I'm taking Tennessee.
God bless you. Oh,
so I gotta win. There's only one way to do that. Take chances. The last noon game is the 4-3 Atlanta Falcons at the 4-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this will be a good game.
Yeah, I do too.
If the Falcons show up like they should.
Yeah.
But I'm leaning towards Tampa Bay because I think they're the better team.
I'm inclined to take Atlanta just so we're not on the same page with this one because I think it could go either way. I don't have any reason to pick one or the other. I think it's going to be a close game.
All right. Well, I like it. Afternoon games. We got the 2-5 New Orleans Saints who have completely fallen off the edge of the earth.
Yep.
At the 3-3 LA Chargers who kind of have two, but they got a better record.
Yes. Yeah.
So which one are you taking?
You put it so poetically. It's like, God. What?
We got Jim Harbaugh, coaching. He's got 3 wins.
I have to go with the Chargers. There's just no other way. I cannot say the Saints. Plus, I've always hated them. So
I'm going with the Chargers also because I think the Saints they're done. Put a stop in. So they looked really good at the beginning of the season, like the first 2-3 games, and now they're just falling off the edge.
Forget it.
Next one in the afternoon is the 5-2 Buffalo Bills at the 4-3 Seattle Seahawks. I think this is going to be a good game.
Yep.
I'm leaning towards the Seattle Seahawks, and I think I'm going to go with them. I think the 2-5 is a little overinflated. They beat the Jets for crying out loud.
Oh, that's right. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That's a really good point.
Oh, actually, disregard that last one.
Oh man.
Choices.
I was all. What did Buffalo do last week? Was that the Jets? No.
Yeah, that was the Jets.
No, that was last week.
Yeah.
Oh.
And a few different plays, and they would have not won against the Jets.
Yeah. Stop saying that. I gotta say Seattle then. Yeah, it's
okay. It's locked in.
Wow. Yes.
We got the 4-2 Chicago Bears who are complete frauds, and it should be 2-4 at the 5-2 Washington Commanders. Commanders are going to just walk all over these guys.
Yeah, I have. This is one I was where I agree with the fraud thing. I mean, Titans, Rams. It's like, they haven't played anyone of any importance. So yeah, Washington.
You don't want to go with the Bears?
Hell no, no.
All right, fine. Last one. I think this one could be very interesting.
What?
I do, and you're gonna have to hear me out. So the 1-6 Carolina Panthers at the 4-3 Denver Broncos. I've been shitting on the Denver Broncos for this whole season, and they've proven me wrong multiple times.
Yes.
But it's not going to happen today. The Carolina Panthers are going to upset the Denver Broncos. And you're going to look back at this and be like, holy crap, he was right.
Have you just locked in that decision?
I did.
Okay, good. Because that may be the dumbest decision of this whole thing.
Are you going with the Carolina Panthers?
Hell no!
All right, fine. I locked you in at the Broncos, so you can't go back.
No, I don't want to. Carol, oh my God. I don't believe you.
Denver has gotten too big in their britches, and now they're thinking, oh, we got this easy team coming in at home, and they're just going to get snickered. Just
isn't Carolina's losing by big margins when they're losing? It's not like it's a 2-point game. It's like, all right, your decision. You're
I can't erase it. There's no erasers
God
on these.
bless you. Oh my Lord.
All right, we got 2 games left: a Sunday night and a Monday night game.
Yeah.
Sunday nights is the 3-3 Dallas Cowboys. Who knows which one's going to show up? At the 3-4 San Francisco 49ers. Who knows which one's going to show up?
Yeah.
Man.
No, you said it. You said it perfectly.
Like
that's
if the good Dallas team shows up, they're going to win. If the good San Francisco team shows up, they're going to win. But if their alter ego shows up, it could be a crapshoot.
Yeah. Only reason I'm going to say Dallas is because the 49ers have some injuries that they're dealing with that might hurt them. And so that's the only reason. Otherwise, I'm in total agreement because it's like bipolar teams. You don't know who's going to be there. But I think the injuries are going to hurt the 49ers. Only reason I say Dallas.
I'm going to take the 49ers just because it's opposite. So
good. Someone has to.
And I got to make up some points for that Carolina.
Certainly do. Good Lord.
And then Monday night, we have the 2-5 New York Giants at the 5-2 Pittsburgh Steelers. And hear me out. I'm not saying the Giants are going to win, but I think that 5-2 is a little inflated. Actually, the Pittsburgh Steelers played the Jets last week. That's who it was. It was 2 weeks ago that the Buffalo Bills played.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah.
So, I'm taking New York Giants. I'm doing it. I'm risking it because I think Russell Wilson's going to throw this one away. That's who Russell is. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's trash. He played good last week. So
yeah, nice attempt to sway Pittsburgh. I'm not being swayed. You don't. Yeah,
I'm going to mark it.
Yes.
Sure.
Make it official. Absolutely, right. I'm sure.
Perfect. Well, this could be one of my best weeks, or one of my worst weeks. Well, that's it for the game, and that's about it for the show. So, do you have any other things that you need to get off your chest that you need to tell the world? That maybe that you want to switch back over to the New York Giants?
No, there's gonna be none of that. No. That's no. I hope your viewers and listeners will follow my podcast, Are We On the Air? It's all about the world of direct response, television shopping, infomercials, and all of that. I don't do video on it, so it's audio. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any place you get your podcast, go look for it. Are We On the Air? It's on YouTube, but again, it's just audio. So I appreciate this chance to come out here. I never get a chance to talk sports on this thing because it's all
Yeah.
business related. And so it's a treat to get out there and talk about something that I do have a passion for. And I've mentioned on my podcast, because again, it's about the business of marketing on television to a large degree. And one of the things that, one of the problems that television is facing is cutting the cable. And I think live sports is going to be the key for the success of cable television and satellite and any means, because everybody's streaming everything that's pre-recorded now. And so it's because of live sports. It's the only reason I have my DirecTV stream is for live sports. It's just, I never watch NBC. I don't know what's on NBC anymore, but live sports is essential for the survival of television in the form that it exists. And so it's kind of nice to merge these two worlds, even if just for a few minutes here for me.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely put that down in the comments or down in the more area. I'll link your
please
thing on there, so anyone can go listen to that. Other than that, I appreciate you coming on, because
anytime, my friend, anytime. I mean, this has been a joy.
We'll have you back on.
Because
we already have some people that want to come back on, and when you do come back on, we're gonna have some different questions, just maybe a different style. But we'll definitely have you back on, and we'll for sure have you back on if I win, because I need to accumulate my wins.
I'm not holding my breath for that, so don't worry.
Other than that, Shawn, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Anytime.
And everyone else, just go subscribe to all of our social medias. Look for the Mustard Cat Bottle. We're not on Spotify yet. That's kind of our next step to get that established. I've been just a little dragging my feet to create a account for us. But we'll be definitely getting on Spotify, but it'll all be on YouTube. So just go enjoy all of our other podcasts, but definitely look for every week the BS ratings. So we'll be doing those. Other than that, everyone else have a wonderful weekend. Go enjoy some sports, and feel free to get mad at your television, because I probably will.
No, you will.
I will. Everyone have a wonderful weekend.